What's up, peoples? Let's go.
Good morning. What's up, Bill?
Hey, man, I'm feeling strong. Feeling strong. I know this is a week to grow. I actually have had some really cool stories this week. I had um, three ways this week, which I was excited about. I got two today, and like I'm 3 for 3 this week. I just want to, so I'm a little bit on a high. Like, the great thing about it is, I'll tell you a little bit about it in a second, was the very first one of the week was this is how the conversation starts, which is like, hey, just want to let you know, I have no intentions of leaving my brokerage. I love my broker. So I'm excited to tell you what happened on that story in a minute. But it's about being intentional and being like, hey, listen, if I'm going to be an alliance attractor, like that's I gotta live that, right? So I actually at the end of last week's call, after somebody did their blessings, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna create my own incantation for alliance attractors, right? So this is what I did. I just want you to know. As an alliance attractor, I commit to leading with service, inspiring others to greatness, and building a legacy of generational wealth. I attract with integrity, grow with intention, elevate those around me to new heights. If you're an alliance attractor, and this is in you, if this becomes your identity, everything starts to shift. Everything starts to get exciting. Every agent you meet is an opportunity to grow your organization or grow as a person. So I'm looking to share some blessings with you guys. If you got a blessing you want to share, maybe last week after the call, you committed to that 60 minutes of putting things together and working on your business, on working on attraction. I'd like to hear about it. Any blessing, even if it's just you just started a conversation, you did the open house thing that we did last week where we're calling lonely open house people and just checking in on them. If you just set up your 100 list, if whatever you've done to move the ball forward, as insignificant as you might think, you're telling the universe that I'm going to build an organization and I'm proud of you and I'd love to celebrate you. So who's got something they want to share to start us off right? Let's go. Let's get some energy going. Let's go.
Ah,
I'll
shit, I'll
start.
go. Oh,
Go, go,
too late.
go.
I went first.
Go ahead.
So I took it actually. I have a commercial property that's pending, but I have an acceleration like clause in it, and so I've been showing it to other agents, seeing if we can get somebody to move a little quicker. And I met an agent yesterday that I'd actually met a couple times. He's a residential agent, doing commercial. So I was like, I don't know if you know, I'm part of this Jay Kinder Accelerate program, and so I called him up this morning and was like, "Hey, man, I got this opportunity. Have you ever heard Jay Kinder? He's trying to get me into this thing. I want to see what you think about it. Can I send you this video? And would you have 45 plus minutes? It is a little long, but can you watch it for me?" He's like, "Well, man, I'm getting ready to head to the beach, but he's like, I'm not really looking to change brokerages or anything." I'm like, "Nah, this is like a marketing, lead generation thing. He's trying to get me in." It was like, "Man, I want you to at least call me back and let me know what you think. Would you watch it?" He's like, "Yeah, yeah, send it to me." So I'm gonna send that to him here in a minute while we're on the Zoom. And I've been following up. I got about 5 agents right now that I'm trying to get to come over. 2 new agents. So obviously, not as much excitement there, but they're excited. So we'll keep pushing to get them over here. And then
Good
I've got
stuff.
two agents in Colombia that we're still working on. But that's
Wow.
harder because EXP doesn't want anybody that's not 2 years plus experience in that market.
Good stuff. Well, they got a strong broker. I did a Zoom call with them, and he's a perfect guy to co-sponsor with guys. And I personally, I won't do a sponsorship in a different country if I don't co-sponsor with somebody in that market that's going to be kind of at least an influential leader or a broker in that market, which takes a lot of pressure off. I mean, it's very easy to grow together, very hard to grow when you're trying to do it all by yourself. So if you're going to recruit in a different country, and we had the broker from Dominican Republic on the call last week, and he kind of shared like with his energy. I'm like, if I even think of anybody in Dominican Republic, I'm gonna give him a call. So who else has got something to share? I heard a couple people competing for that first spot. Jump in.
I'll say this. I listened to the call. It's pretty consistent here on the mastermind. And one of the things a few months back that you said kind of resonated with me and stuck with me, and it was that of which when you communicate with people, obviously you want to understand what's going on in their business and all that other stuff, but almost using news to like leverage or start the conversation, right? And so did that pretty successfully as it relates to the Fair Act in New York City, kind of a big deal. They're changing the way that, fees are paid, let's say, and a lot of shakeup. So what I ended up doing was kind of just putting everybody in a room to kind of hash it out. Got, I don't know, 30 people in the room on, maybe 5 days notice, but basically built a community around, awareness of the act and also, what we call them work-throughs. So forged a whole bunch of new relationships, created a WhatsApp channel, for example, for listings to, share, off market. And I see a lot of momentum going. We planned the next event. And we're also doing one with the landlords to understand kind of their take on it. And so it's really cool because a lot of people are appreciative because, they're at brokerages, even some of the teams I'm recruiting that, don't have access to information or don't know how to navigate through it. And they're kind of like looking to me because they know that, a huge percentage of my business is that. And so being able to like come up with solutions and kind of like a mastermind format was pretty dope. Vincent came and supported. So that was kind of key. And it was our first one, technically, like our first.
That's
like,
awesome.
It was a home run. Okay. We had other brokerages that brought like 6, 7 people with them.
Yeah.
We probably had what, 5, 6 other companies in the room.
Like 10 different or 10, 11 different companies RSVP'd, and then probably, 6 or 7 different ones, made it to the room.
Yeah, they all felt safe. Everybody got along, new relationships. Now you have this new community. You created this WhatsApp group, and we're just keeping the momentum going, right? Already set up the next event. Before we even let them out, we were like 3 weeks from now, we're back together.
Correct. So sent the follow-up email to everybody, bullet pointing out the stuff, and did the debrief on what we can do better, and it really just comes down to engaging the community or people that you genuinely care about in their business, right? And coming up with solutions because there's more than enough business, and bringing them into the fold. So anyway, it started the Q. What are we at, 3, 4 momentum for the events. And so we got a lot of them kind of planned out. So anyway, it started from the idea of not cold calling people for, hey, I want to join the company. It's like, hey, the Fair Act, what are you guys doing about it? You know what I mean? Or people calling me, and then I'm like, you know what? One lunch meeting turned into the mastermind. You know what I mean? I had one booked, and I was like, you know what? Scratch that. We're not doing lunch. We're doing actually a mastermind, same time, just in my office. And that's literally what
awesome.
So anyway, appreciate that.
That's freaking Desmond. That made me so excited, man. I'm so proud of you, man. That's everything I knew you could do. So like, I'd love to see you keep building that community, and people will come, right? I mean, you build the space. You have a freaking awesome space. Like, you got great people in there too. You're a great leader. So I'm excited to see where that kind of works itself, man. Sky's the limit. That's awesome, man. Good stuff. Who else got something they want to share? I got to get you guys on my calendar, man. Get out there to New York City. My wife's going to be there next week.
Oh, that's what's up. I'm going to be in Barcelona. I'm going to the EXP thing.
Oh, you're lucky, man. You're lucky. That's awesome. I've got a bunch of stuff on the calendar, so I couldn't make that one happen. Who else got something they want to share about maybe some of your recruiting efforts, some of the things you put in place, agent you've met this week, or what do you got going on? Go ahead, Narda. Go ahead.
Hi everybody. I just started with social media, focus a little bit about different strategies I use for, my clients, for investors. And I get called for a couple of realtors who wants to join and ask me for mentorship. And I'm about to have you on the call because they are beginners, and it's kind of, they have to go through fast track and everything, but I have a little challenge in there because I don't know how to tell them, no, you're gonna do this and that. So I'm gonna schedule myself with them and you next week, so you can talk to them. That's my challenge right now. So it's organic, everything. They're calling me, so I'm happy about it. But yeah, I get frozen here.
Yeah, don't be scared to introduce somebody into the company. Here's the deal. I think that was early on one of my challenges, and I want to be very honest with you. I suffered a lot with this one problem, um, where I felt like I had to be the energy for everyone that grew, right? So I had to be the person for that person, right? So no, no, I now all in on digital tools. I mean, I love FastCap. I'm putting people through it. I think it's a great program. I'm putting people inside communities. Like if you want to be luxury, you're gonna be a luxury community. If you want land and ranch, you're gonna be land and ranch community. If you're gonna be commercial, you're gonna be commercial community. You want to do investing, you're gonna be investing. There's like, I don't I would have to guess because I have no clue. I'm gonna try to find out after the call, but I'd have to guess there's at least 60, 70 different groups, if not hundreds of groups inside of EXP that I can plug somebody in. That's one thing. The second thing is, Narda, like you're already a social media sensation, right? So inviting people to a Zoom where you showed them how to do investing and built that community would be the exact same thing that we're all trying to build, right? We're trying to build a community where we say, okay, hey, here's what's interesting to you, it's interesting to me. Let's get on a Zoom together. It doesn't have to be some like palace or office space or something like that. And let's just talk about it. And you are strong enough a leader right now to be able to say, hey, if you got a deal, let's talk about it online. Like rather than doing it with one person, open it up. If there's one thing you heard from Desmond's leadership right there was Desmond said, hey, listen, he turned a coffee appointment to a freaking mastermind. Like we've got to be able to take our energy from one source and make it the energy of many sources. That is how you win. So, rather than saying, hey, listen, why don't we sit down and have some coffee? Say, hey, listen, I've actually got a group of people together. Even if you don't have a group yet, you can build a group. Hey, I've got a few people that were also interested in that. Why don't we get together? We'll get together on Zoom and I'll kind of show you what I'm doing. And then, if you guys want, if this is good with you, we'll just do it once a month and we'll get back together. And by the way, this is a lot easier. If you're with EXP, I can introduce you to a couple of people. Like it's just better together, right? So you don't have to take the burden on, man, how am I going to train this agent? No, you're going to guide the agent. By the way, there's a gazillion investor agents inside of EXP. Just join one of the groups inside of EXP, right? There's always a speaker that we could bring in, like a John Chin or somebody else, and say, hey, listen, I got this group that wants to learn about investing. Do you want to come in, right? And so all you've got to do is take one appointment and bring a second person. Like if you read the what most people would consider the Bible of business, which is Think and Grow Rich. I think it's the second chapter. It talks about the power of a mastermind. And it's just two people connecting over a particular cause or purpose, right? So you taking investing, you taking the changes in New York City and stuff like that, and just saying, hey, listen, we're going to build a community and we're going to hash this through together, right? It puts everybody in a position where it feels safe, it feels secure, and it's the building block for attraction. So, man, that's freaking awesome. That's great stuff. We got time for one or two more.
Hey, it's Chris from New York. How are you guys?
Chris and then Victor, go ahead.
Started doing some content, even did one in Spanish, which I thought was going to be the worst. Was saying words I didn't know, but to believe it or not, I attained about 4 listings in the last 3-4 weeks from my content. One with a mentee of a $3 million property I've been trying to get the listing for, but through talking in Spanish in my neighborhood, we found a buyer for it. So blew my mind. They saw it yesterday, they fell in love, and they're going to be making an all-cash offer. And just talking to people in my neighborhood, we're going to do content today as well. We have another multi-million-dollar investor looking to buy in my neighborhood in Mineola. And these homes are very rare. So just building content and also in recruiting, I am just, instead of fighting with my neighborhood of agents with 20, 30 years experience, I'm speaking to them, inviting them to my listings and asking them the questions, being they're older. Hey, what's your exit plan? Things like that, what we've been talking. Work until I can't anymore. I'm like, well, with your great experience, you don't think you could have people join and live on a type of revenue share as a broker or something? And it's getting a lot of touching points without even speaking about EXP. So that's been really good. And I've been meeting them at one of our luxury Regis offices, like at the Manhasset one, the Lakeville Road. So it's been really amazing. So You'll be seeing
Dude,
some
that's
great things
awesome, man.
coming
Regis
soon.
Offices is an underutilized free tool for EXP agents. If you're like, to be very frank with you, there's Regises everywhere. Just put in your request to get your pass. Start using those things. I mean, what you do is what a great place to do kind of your little smaller gatherings and things of that nature, and say, hey, why don't we meet over at the Regis office? Yeah, we get this free as EXP agents anyway, and just that alone could be
Paying
an
your
agent
business
attraction.
cards. What? Paying your business
One of the
cards
best
on the wall.
masterminds I've ever had was impromptu in Wisconsin with Gino and Sekou, and it was after one of our what was it? One of those events that we put together, relaunch, and we just decided to go to one of the Regis office, went on the roof deck. There was we borrowed an easel, and it was just on, and it went on for like 2 hours, and it was just incredible. But it was impromptu. We needed a space, and we just jumped into our Regis. It was perfect.
That's freaking awesome. Guys, there's so much positive energy. I want to share my blessing. Oh no, I'm sorry, Victor, go ahead.
Oh, thank you, man. Yeah. So I'll keep it brief. Like the last week of July and first week of August, man, is gonna be really powerful and momentum building because so the last week of July, Alexis and I will be traveling to Denver for a Girls with Grit event, and then following from Denver to San Diego for Inman Connect. And then after Inman Connect, we're going to Dallas for a build. And then after that week, we're doing the build cruise. And it's just, yeah, momentum is just shifting, man. It's amazing to be exposed
That
to all the industry leaders and out of our market and talking to team leaders across industry. It's just, yeah.
Hey, Victor, are you going to be in San Diego for the luxury portion of Inman Connect?
Man, we can only do one day out there, unfortunately, just because of it's tight. Those 5 days, we have 3 events and we have like 3 flights to catch. So it's like
Which day are you going to be there?
San Diego, I believe, is Wednesday. Girls with Grit is Monday. No, Girls with Grit is Sunday and Monday. I think we fly out Tuesday, and then Wednesday is San Diego, and then we fly out that same day, Wednesday, to Dallas for Thursday, and then Friday back to Orlando.
All right. I'm going to coordinate my schedule. If I could see you there, I will. I plan to be
Oh,
in
yeah,
San Diego.
definitely.
Well.
Absolutely.
So I want to share with you one of the ones that I had one unspectacular win that turned into a really great spectacular win. So, you know, you got to get the courage up to make your calls right after this. I mean, the whole purpose we do this meeting today for 45 minutes is to prepare us for the next 45 to 60 minutes. We're going to make some phone calls, right? We're going to reach out to agents. We're going to send our text messages. We're going to send our email. But most importantly, we're going to make some phone calls, right? So we're going to make this meeting runs till 9:45. At 9:46, all of us are making our calls. So one of my calls from this week was this. I reached out to an agent that's in my marketplace. That's not a super big producer, probably about $3 to $4 or $5 million. So decent, definitely a capper in our market. And I'm not unused to people already kind of like knowing who I am and be like, hey, Gil, just want to let you know right off the bat, like, I'm not changing brokerages. I love such and such person. I know this guy too. So, and I was like, Jenny, I don't expect you to make a switch on a phone call. I'm just wanted to reach out to you. How's business going? And I asked her this question, asked her many questions, but this was the question that really kind of, that really kind of shifted things. I always start off the questions like, how's business? What could make it better? Blah, blah, blah. What's stopping you from doing that? Right? So I kind of come in from that coaching kind of mentality. But I asked her, hey, Jenny, that all sounds great, but I got one last question for you. Are you excited? Are you excited? And she laughed at me. She's like, I haven't been excited in about 5 years. And I was like, Jenny, we got to talk about that. And I said, tell me more. And she kind of vomited all over me. She's like, listen, I've been working for this brokerage and I honor this guy because I've been working with him for years and years and years. Vincent, she's been with him for 15 years. She helped start the original brokerage and then they shifted into a franchise brokerage. And she's like, I haven't been happy for 5 years. But I have this crazy loyalty to this guy. And I was like, let me ask you a question. Do you think he's excited? She's like, listen, I can tell you that absolutely answers no. And he goes, he's having back surgery on Monday, and I'm afraid of like when he comes out of the surgery, like what's left from him, because like he was a high energy guy and he's not a high energy guy. So I was like, she's like, Jeannie actually says to me, she goes, I actually would love to actually sit down and introduce you and then see what would come from that. And I was stunned. She actually scripted the call for me. And I was like, Jeannie, I'd love to do that. I said, well, how could we make that happen? And she's like, well, we're coming out of the appointment. He's going to come out of surgery on Monday. Maybe we can schedule it for Friday of next week or the following week, blah, blah, blah. And sure as shit, we're on the calendar for next Tuesday. And I'm like, wow, this was a call that started off with, Gil, I'm not going anywhere.
What are the chances, Bill? What are the chances that she would have called you?
No, I called her.
Right. Would she ever?
She's never going to call me. She's never going to call me to tell me that she's unhappy. She's not going to call me to tell me she feels soulless in real estate right now, which, by the way, that's the feeling I'm feeling from a lot of agents that have been sitting in this market for so long. They're looking for an answer. They're looking for resetting. They're looking to be relaunched. They're looking to be re-inspired. Now, we take for granted all the inspiring shit that we got. We got fucking people going to Barcelona. We've got this relaunch event. We've got these build events. We got Fast Track. We got Sisu. We got Canva Pro. We've got Slack. We've got CRM of choice. And we take for granted that we just, isn't this what all realtors feel like? Aren't they all excited about being in real estate? Aren't they all looking like, man, this is going to be my year? Aren't they all building generational wealth? Aren't they all? No? No? Let me tell you something, guys. All of you guys need more conversations. Just conversations. How's business? What would make it better? Just checking up on you. Let me ask you one last question. Are you excited? See, I learned a long time ago when I was a listing agent, one of my favorite questions was like, I try to desensitize what people like to respond on things. When I ask people questions about listing their home, they would be like, well, I'm in no rush, right? And I would say, well, what happens if you stay, right? Let's compound that problem. Like, what are you actually excited about this house that you're willing to just not be in a rush? And what I find is like, I'm in a rush in a conversation to try to get as authentic as possible. I want to get into a conversation where we have a feeling. Write that down. The goal in agent interaction is to get into a conversation where we're talking about feelings and not scripts. There's a lot of people feeling like they're suffering right now. That's the truth. If I had to be like super transparent, like, and they're not, and some of them are even in our own brokerage. The reality is like, we've got to be a light, and these masterminds you guys are creating, and these opportunities where you guys can band with other people, with our brokerage, without our brokerage, and stuff like that, is what's going to change the industry. That's why I get so excited to be on these calls. I've seen this change the industry. Vincent Koo has seen us change this industry. 6 years ago, when we came to this company, like, this was a baby company. We changed the industry, and we're continuing to do that. We got Leo Parejo, which, by the way, he had his birthday a couple of days ago. Like, I mean, shout out to like the best CEO in real estate, period, bar none. We're changing the industry, and you got an opportunity to ease someone's suffering. What's more noble than that? What's more noble to take somebody and say, "Hey, listen, let me show you why I'm excited," right? And I shared some of those things that I shared with you, just like now, and I was like, "Hey, just like, well, what's there to be excited about?" That's what she asked me, and it was kind of bold the way she said it to me. And I was like, "Well, we made a lot of changes recently that are helping my business." I talked about Fast Attract, and the thing is, I know she's a mentor in her office, so and I know that they don't have great systems right now. She works for a legacy franchise. It's been around for 100 years. So, they're not innovating anymore. I talked to her about healthcare. I talked to her about the fact that we've got, choices for agents to choose to how they want to build their business, the marketing systems that are built in, the communities that are being built in, all the amazing trips that we're going on. I talked to her about my build cruise coming up in August. She's like, I love going on cruises. You know what I love better than going on cruises? I love going on cruises that I can write off for business. Those are the best cruises ever. And in just a conversation that started with, I'm not changing brokerages, changed to like, I'm willing to change not only where I'm at, but I'm willing to inspire and ignite a fire for my entire team to make this move. And I can tell you that it's a really good chance that I'm going to have this meeting and the conversation is going to move forward and move forward and move forward. But the last thing that Ginny said is like, listen, I really hope he comes. I really hope, she's talking about a broker. I really hope he comes. And I said, what do you mean by that? He's like, I got to make the move regardless. That's how the call ended. So I really hope he comes too. We've all seen number twos move. Like the reality is, it's like a number two is actually stronger than a number one. Sometimes we chase the number one person. The number two person is usually the person that really is in charge or really can move the group. I'm telling you, these next 45 minutes you guys take after this call, be intentional about who you're going to call. Be intentional about being ridiculous a little bit. We're going after some markets. We're going after in our market. We decided, you know what? Who's the top 100 people in our market? Can I meet with all 100 of them before the end of this year? I'm getting some people, hey, I don't have time, blah, 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 blah. But I got some people who have time. For some of you guys who are like, hey, listen, I'm looking for people that, are just getting it, but need to get a little farther. Get yourself a list. Work your list. Most of you guys already have your list. Work your list. And what I want you to do is work your list backwards today. Because some of you guys like calling the same people you're comfortable calling. Work your list backwards. Start from Z. Start from the person that you least likely think that'll make a move. And that's okay. They don't have to make a move for us to be a servant leader. See, you win every time you make a phone call. Every time you make a phone call, you have an opportunity to help somebody light their day up. You light somebody's day up enough, and you figure out a way to get them excited about being in real estate just in general, which, by the way, I shared with Ginny. I was like, hey, we're really working on expires right now. I was like, are you tackling expires? She's like, no, not really. I was like, here, let me share you. I shared my script with her. I said, well, this is the script that's working with us. If you want to practice a script with our team, I was like, I have no problem with that. You can come and sit on my team meeting. Like, open the doors. Reach out, connect with some people. Vince, I feel like you were about to say something. Go ahead.
No, I'm not. I'm watching you flow. You're in the zone. I'm writing stuff down. I wrote 3 things down and
What'd you write down?
Yeah.
I wrote down the goal in attraction is to get the conversation around feeling, not script. And that is so freaking huge, Gil. Right? Because the emotion is going to get them to move, not the words that you use.
Yeah.
So that was a big one. And then the second one I wrote down was move number 2. A lot of times number 2 has so much more control than you know.
Yeah. And number ones don't like to hear that, but it's the truth.
Black Labs. Be the Jennifer Hudson. She wasn't number 1, but look who she is. TV show and everything. From American Idol, number 2. But I just wanted to say, this is one of my gifts to my agents when they join. I have, if you can see it, a postered already, what do you call it? Wealth chart. This is one of the gifts that all my new agents, when they join, I just made one now. I manifest, I get 5 every time at home at Staples. I frame it and then I just give them to my agents. That's my manifestation. So I see
a good friend of mine who actually does that too, and he's got 1,000 people in his organization, one at a time, just giving that gift and just putting it in the play, right? That this is possible. And I can tell you, I've got a young lady right now who got a check last week for $700 something, and it was her first check. Her first check. My first check was $76. Like her first check was $700. She brought in somebody, like, just must have done a good sized deal. But she's like, holy crap. Like, it just popped in my account. I didn't even know the guy did a deal. Awesome, man. That's awesome. Like, guys, the power of revenue share, the power of building our organization, the power of the stock, like the power of all these things that we do, don't take it for granted. And don't think that other brokerages have this. I don't care how big you are. Like, I don't know. Like, the difference between EXP and everyone else, it's a big difference. Don't just assume everybody else is having the same opportunity, the same inspiration, the same tools, the same resources. So going back to Vincent, like the number 2 person, like, think about today writing a list of 10 brokerages and going down to the number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5 top performers in that brokerage, and say, hey, look, I'm gonna make it a point to meet those 5 people. I'm gonna meet number 2 through 6, right? And just having a conversation and find out if they're excited. Find out if they feel like that they're doing what they think is the absolute best thing for their family. I'm gonna tell you, like, you'd be hard pressed to find somebody say yes. Like, I have all the tools that I need. I have all the community I have. And if they do, let's co-collaborate with those people. Hey man, let's do a mastermind together. Let's get some people together. Let's have some coffee, man. Dude, I love your energy, man. Let's sit down. Maybe there's something we can learn from them. But put yourself in a position to have the opportunity to have some genuine conversations that could lead them to getting the results that they want to, as well as you. That's what the game is about. Anybody working on somebody right now they need help with?
I had a conference call at 10 for a commercial agent. So
Good
I
stuff.
haven't been on many three-way commercial conference calls. I actually have the state commercial broker jumping on. I don't know how he is with attraction, so we'll see how that goes.
Well, I mean, listen, the one thing I can tell you, and you already know this, Vince, is the most important part is not what he says. The most important part is how you edify that person, right? Who, like, and really focus on like what we want to help them grow with, right? Tell them, hey, he's a rock star, this and this and this, and I think he's an incredible human being. And by the way, he's married and he's got children and blah blah. He's awesome, and I really would love from my heart to help him with this. He's working on this project too. He's got this one listing too. I'd love to kind of just look and see if we can help him with that. And by the way, here's our commercial broker, and here's what's great about him. Like, in that edification portion, it's almost more important than what happens next. If we can connect people and admire people and show people why we're connecting them, everything else just kind of falls in place. And you know that already. I'm going to tell you that. I just said that to say it out loud.
Oh, it's a really good reminder, and both sides. It's not just the senior partner, right? But the potential sponsor as well. So really good reminder. I needed to hear that, actually.
Okay, good stuff. Good stuff. But you do that naturally, so you probably don't even think about it. You really good. You are a good edifier, so it's something you're naturally good at. But being aware of, like, what could we serve this person with? What are we trying to get from that? What are we trying to get from a three-way call? What we're trying to do is show them that, one, that we've got a connection of solutions, right? That we value them to bring them into this opportunity to meet with a VP or something of that nature, and trying to see if there's any resources that we can help this person out to build the community, the conversation to a farther level, and then see if there's any other solutions that we can find out through that call, and just be a detective, right?
Yep. That hopefully, if we can't get them on this call, I'll set them with somebody else, introduce them to somebody else, so it doesn't feel like I'm the one selling him on EXP. Absolutely.
Like, I can tell you, I did, I think, 2 three-way calls in the last 10 days for Victor Diaz's wife, Alexis Diaz. She's got somebody in her organization that brought people on the call and stuff like that. And sometimes I'm just there to kind of just repeat what they already said, right? And it's funny because you bring them on the call and you're like, hey, do you have any questions? And typically they don't have questions. So what you try to do is like, well, here's some questions some people ask. I was like, would it be helpful if I told you like the top 2 or 3 questions everybody asks me? Right. And you kind of drive them into a conversation. And I was like, well, you know, the last question everybody always asks me, right? And this is a strategy that really works with newer agents, right? I was like, well, you know, I'm sure you already know the last question every agent that aspires to be great asked me on this call. And what do you think I'm leading them to? How do I
I
join?
don't know. The next step, right?
Yeah, what's the next step? Yep. Like that's usually with an agent that's probably more ready, 3-5 million or below, that's usually the next step, right? If it's somebody who's a little bit above that, I was like, I might recommend the next step. It's like, hey, listen, would it be if they're especially if they're a team leader? Hey, I think it'd probably be smart if we, you know, the next step might be let's really dig deep on the team portion. I was like, I'd love to kind of put you in with one of the team analysts that can kind of look at like what they can do to help structure your team and help you make it monetize your team and help you become more profitable. We have in-house resources. I'd also like to expose you to our team. Like we talked about this a few weeks ago, like our John Cheplak. Cheplak's our EXP team leader coach. By the way, you don't pay anything for that. It's completely free. I attend it once a month. I also love to explore, and I just kind of keep exploring some stuff with them. And it's just about setting up one more appointment, setting up one more appointment, setting up another appointment, and stuff like that. And then they're just in our ecosystem. Right. So, you know, then they start asking, hey, what's the Zoom for that team leader call? Oh, dude, here it is. Come on. I'll watch it with you. Right. So I don't actually give them the Zoom. I put them on, I kind of just watch it with them. So they're kind of just side by side with me, or they're on my Zoom watching a Zoom. So it's just, I'm just giving them like a over the back kind of look of what we do. Not that EXP would care if I gave them the Zoom or like that. They don't really block that, but I just like to do it with them. Anybody else? For anybody who they're working on, they're concerned about, they're like nervous about going, I'd like just be able to serve you guys. If you're sitting here and you're like, man, this all sounds great, but here's my problem. Just be honest. Let's go. I'm gonna pick on Jennifer Ree, because you're just sitting there like super professional, taking notes, and I just want to just hear your voice. So what's going on in your head right now?
I like the agents that I've spoken to, they're at various brokerages, Compass, Douglas Elliman. One hiccup is that there's no actual location to meet their clients. And then the other thing that the pushback I got, the ones that, you know, do a lot of transactions and the ones that do have small teams, they say that EXP may not be a fit because of the branding and their high level clientele in Manhattan.
Tell me more about that.
They just don't think it's like a brand fit for them.
So
because Manhattan is another beast altogether.
Manhattan is a city just like a lot of cities, but let me tell you something. Who's the brand? It's not a what, it's a who.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yep.
And once you disassociate that, and I was like, I'm curious. I don't understand what you mean by that, because I never thought the brand was a what. I thought the brand was
They just don't think EXP is a recognizable brand for their clients that they're targeting.
So
Those
the
are
number
the
one
same
brokerage in the world
people.
right now would be a challenge to bring clients to, like the number one brokerage in the world with your branding, with your success, with your motor. Like I think you're overestimating who the brand is. Carl, you're the brand. Jennifer, you're the brand. You're the magic. And when we disassociate those two things, it's like, I'm just going to use Marty. We'll say Marty, right? Marty, you could literally work for ABC Mouse and crush it. You're the magic, right? You think that clients, no, they don't, they're using Marty. You're the brand. And what's great about it is that you keep your brand, but you get all of these benefits with it. I'll tell you what, if I could, just for the fun of it, if I could introduce you to someone who moved over and since then has crushed their business, so we could just hear it from their perspective, could we jump on a call together? Because I'm curious. because we've got a lot of people moving over, and I'd love to hear it from them as to why their business is better as a result of this. Would you entertain me and get on a call with me so we can kind of explore this together? Like, branding is super for me is one of the easiest ones because I don't let anybody tell me their brand is better than ours. Like the reality is like, because you're the brand. They're the brand. That's the only reason why we build a business is to be a brand. Like I've lent my brand to other companies, but it's always Gil Ramos, right? So you want to separate, like, who the fuck is Douglas Elliman anyway? I don't know. Like, I really don't know. Is that two people? Like, that isn't my father. It isn't my cousin. It isn't my brother. Like, I don't give a shit. I break that down fast. I make sure that they understand that, dude, you're the magic. You think your customers care? Really? Have you even had a customer say, man, I'd work with you, Marty, but you work for Douglas Elliman and I love Compass. I'd work with you, Marty. You work for Compass and I'd rather you work for, if you work for EXP, I would work with you. Like in my history, and I've done a lot of listings. I've done a lot of business. In my history, I've worked for multiple companies. I've never once, now one company I've ever worked with, somebody told me they chose me because they worked for a company. They chose me because of me. And I would ask him, hey man, yes, and everybody's like, yup, that's the truth. That's the truth, right? So that's the first part. But I would love, Jennifer, please let me get on a call with you. Let me just explore this conversation with you. And the reality is that I don't do a lot of the calls myself for myself. I bring people in. I bring in Jay Kinder. I bring in my partners like Veronica, and I'll bring in Bobby, and Bobby brings me in. I bring partners in because sometimes no matter what I've got to say to a person that I already know, it never sounds like gospel, but fuck if Bobby says it, or if somebody else says it, right? It's always gospel. And I'm sitting there like, Marty, I just said that to you like 15 times over the last year. But Bobby will go like, dude, you're the brand. So the power
Well,
of
different people say
call,
different things and it lands differently, even if
it
it's the same
does.
thing. So
I don't
there you
understand
go.
it, but it's the truth. I've accepted it. I've humbled myself to realize that like I can never be a God's gift to somebody that I'm already talking to, but I can be for somebody I've never met before. Right? I put Bobby on a call and like he says exactly what I said and he's crushing. But you know, like that's the beauty of the partnership that we have, the collaboration that we have is you can get just about anybody to help you. I'm doing a 3-way call for Bobby at 2:00. Which Bobby could definitely nail the guy without me, right? He doesn't need me. I guarantee I will say nothing spectacular or special, but he will edify this person about their dreams, their goals, their desires. He'll edify me as to what I do. I'm a strategist. I help agents grow. And as a third party, I'll listen to what his concerns, his needs, and blah, blah. I'll validate him and I'll try to find him a resource. And I'll continue to follow up resources. I'll overwhelm him with opportunities, right? Which will lead him to a gradual thought or an immediate thought that this is better. Now, I'm not a luxury agent, but there's a lot of luxury people that would help out.
That's a really good one to end on, and something that I think that it's easy for us all to remember, right? That the brand is not a what, it's a who. So anytime anybody brings that branding thing up, that's what I'm going to go back to. I'm going to commit that to memory, and that's it. No more brand objections.
All right, guys, we got 60 minutes. Don't pee, don't eat, don't work out, don't turn Netflix on. We're making
No one's trying to get a
right
UTI,
now.
Gil.
I don't care. Like, drink some cranberry juice. We are going to work our business right now. Trust me, generational wealth will thank you later. Thank God Jennifer didn't pee after this call. She went straight to work, and result of it, we're all thankful and grateful. Hey, guys, I think the world of you guys. I look forward every week to being with you guys at 9:00 every Friday. Let's put some work in. I'll see you guys soon. Take care.
Happy
Thank you.
Friday, guys. Have a good weekend.
Bye.
Have a great next 60 minutes. Take care, bro. Be well.
Let's leave with that.
Yeah.